And they're saying everything is mental, but let's bring it down to earth now, because today, where we at in the sciences, a lot of sciences is going to consciousness now. The study of consciousness is a real big thing.
That's a big field, yeah.
And that's basically saying the same thing that the ancients were saying. Everything is mental. And they're proving a lot of things that they were saying dealing with universal laws are true. Where they said everything is vibration, and in quantum physics, they're saying basically everything is vibrating, everything is moving, it's molecules put together. So it's all going hand in hand. But this thing called consciousness is a big one. And the reason why this means a lot to us on the Breatharian journey is because we are expanding our consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the journey is all about.
Yeah. See.
Now, we say our bodies is nature because they were born in nature. We were born here. So for nature, we do got a thing called, to answer those questions, physics, the laws of physics. So when I start people out, when I'm teaching them this journey, so they won't be intimidated, your body is under the laws of physics, just like nature. And we're doing very good at that.
Mm-hmm.
We could explain a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got this great mystery called life that everybody's into. We're all living it. Life. Life itself. The experience of life. Now, even though there's many definitions of it, we got biology we created to answer a lot of those questions. Meaning, we do got a breakdown of the physical body where we got the different systems. You got a heart, you got a brain. So even when I talk about the Breatharian journey, I'm not no different than nobody else and vice versa. We're working with the same equipment. So you ain't got to be intimidated by some guru up on a mountain.
Right.
No matter where you at, you got the brain, you got the heart, you got intestines, 2 legs, the average person. You're working with the same equipment.
Yeah, we have expensive equipment even, however.
Yeah. But now when we go to this thing called consciousness, we got the science of psychology. Dealing with our psyche. And psychology came a long way, especially over the last 2 decades. Now, they got this new psychology book out now on the work they've been doing over the last 2 decades. And this book is close to $1,000. It ain't like you're going to get it at Borders bookstore. But that shows you the work they've been doing. So that means somebody could be in college right now taking psychology, but it's updated. So you could be going to school right now and be late on the knowledge you have. Everybody ain't got the same memo.
Yeah, if you're graduated 5-10 years ago and you try to go talk to someone about your degree, it's worthless.
Right, it's worthless. Absolutely. And there's people that's going to school now. I'll give you an example. There's a guy who found another place within the eyelid. Now that was over 15 years ago. Now, there's people in school now to be an eye doctor. All the textbooks on the planet ain't been changed. He's not learning that part of the puzzle. So I'm just saying everybody does not have the same knowledge whatsoever. Even if you watch the news, it doesn't matter. And I give people the example of the cell phone we're using with all the apps on it we take for granted. That been out decades before it even came to the masses. So that goes to show you that how the knowledge just comes as a wave. So even when we spread the Breatharian knowledge, this is new. So don't be worried about people around you shocked when they hear that. But as time moves on throughout the years, there's going to be a time this is going to be common knowledge, and it's going quite fast now.
I mean, even now, I'm still shocked. I think I'm the only one that someone can go without food for long periods of time.
Right.
Try to tell you can get it. You can't even go without food.
Oh, absolutely. And that's how it's working. So now we got this thing called consciousness, and we got the science of psychology to explore consciousness. And the Breatharian knowledge deals with consciousness. So that means that this is a psychological thing. And more than ever, I was just watching some woman talking yesterday in the science arena, and she's saying that there was a time we didn't know that the mind and body was connected. Listen to what she said. She's in the science field. Now we know if you eat something and the body becomes inflamed, it affects your mental thinking.
Oh, yeah. I know. That's what's going on with me because I'm going through menopause right now.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going through menopause right now, and sometimes my whole body is just hot, and including my thinking, I can tell the difference.
Right.
So the difference, my joints hurt for just a little bit, and then it all goes away. Like, whoa, that's like the flash.
Yep. Oh, man. So we get the memo now. The mind and the body is connected. And when we talk about, when I say the Breatharian journey is a holistic lifestyle, the definition of holistic is mind-body connection. And that's been out like forever, but everybody couldn't relate to it or how connected we're one. It's already wired for it. So the Breatharian journey is going through, it's the exploration of consciousness, and the science of psychology is your vehicle. So this is all mental work, 100% mental.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I like that exposure instead of trying to think of my body when you think everything is mental, it makes sense because it really makes sense. Yeah, I agree with you. I just want to listen. I don't want to talk too much, but it does a lot of sense.
Yeah. Now, there's a famous saying that says that psychology has a long history, a long past, but a short history, which that's true. We've been around for a long time, but for the human being to be really working on themselves is actually short. And even when I talk about the Breatharian knowledge to bring it down to earth, I don't talk on the level that this is the way man was created to be food free. This is a technology that came about somewhere in our evolution. Somebody brought it up in the past. That's all. Because we've been here for a lot longer. Even if we wasn't in these bodies, we got an ancestor dealing with evolution that you can't even relate to. Yeah, we come out of nature just like anything else. But there was changes that took place, and we just happened to take part in those changes. But once we got this consciousness, this is different than the other animals or how they think. They're not thinking about getting a bigger house and how they're going to do it and what type of job they're going to work, where I'm going to retire. They're not thinking that. We're thinking that. Life and death. What is people thinking about me? I want to be famous. Right, an animal ain't thinking that. We think that. So this consciousness, if you don't have some type of grip on it, it could get away from you and it could destroy your life. Or that's why we talk about discipline. That's a level and degree in spirituality. That's where the word disciple come from. First you have the physical body mastery, the emotional body, the mental body mastery, then you go into discipleship.
Okay.
And discipleship, I got to tell you, I know it's a hard word. It's hard because it goes against human nature. Now, why would I say that? Because we're creatures of pleasure. That's why it's easy. The main addictions on the planet now is salt, sugar, and fried food, fats. Those are pleasures. And everybody's stuck in it, so it's easy to have a health pandemic due to people's addictions. So to come off of that, you most definitely need some mind mastery, some discipline, just to come up off of it. Now, one thing that need to be worked on coming on a breatharian journey is a word called self-esteem. Oh, man.
Yeah, I needed that, and you gave me a dose of that last time that we talked.
Self-esteem is serious, especially if we're talking about self-realization. For you to realize yourself, self-esteem means you need some confidence in your abilities.
Yeah.
That's something, ain't it?
Yeah.
Everybody you see in humanity who did reach some type of pinnacle or some type of success, and we're looking at them, they had also some type of self-esteem because they had to believe in themselves. They had to believe in their abilities.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. And that's what separated them from everybody else. Most people do shake on self-esteem problems.
Yeah.
You got three. Right. They'll believe in themselves. Let the voice inside get a hold of them. Let other people talk them out of it. In the breatharian journey, you most definitely need self-esteem because when I was coming in it, everybody was talking against it. So I had to believe in my abilities and have confidence in myself in order to transform.
I can't even imagine how you did that.
I can't either. I know I came out of it. Right. I had to stay focused just like a horse with blinders on. Because everybody was talking against it. It still is today, but that doesn't matter. I had developed what they call high self-esteem. This is my abilities, ain't nothing you can do about it. But that's a level and degree. To even be healthy, you need high self-esteem. But it's a mental thing. And people, self-esteem usually get developed from their family, their neighborhood, their workplace, the society they live in, all of that could create your self-esteem or your self-confidence. Whoa. And that's going to affect your psychology. And if it affects your psychology, it's going to affect your expansion in consciousness. So the breatharian journey, if you don't have self-esteem, you're going to have problems until that gets established. To know your self-worth, your self-respect, your self-caring. Because the body, the only thing it's going to tell us, like we say the body talks to us. Well, the only thing the body is going to tell you if it feels good, pleasure, or if it feels pain. That's what it's going to tell you. We have to use our mental thinking, our reasoning to find out what it is or what triggers it. Nobody else going to tell us. You don't want to live in your body. Why is my leg paining? Right, you got to figure it out, especially if you're in a holistic lifestyle, because what that's saying is you're taking full responsibility and you're going to heal yourself. That's why I tell people in the breatharian journey, first you got to heal yourself. So you're using your psychology again to monitor yourself on every level. This is where the discipline come at. How did I sleep? How am I walking? Why am I thinking negative today? What triggered that? Right. Where is it coming from? Who to stay around? Who to stay away from? You're monitoring yourself just on that level, especially when you're dealing with trying to grab these subtle energies that you're going to be sustained off of. But you got to figure it out. That's what makes your mind mastery. The body got the abilities, but the only thing it's going to tell you if it feels good or if it feels bad. You got to listen to it. And just because it feels good It could be temporary. That's the problem. That's what got us in trouble in the first place. We was going for stuff that gave us temporary pleasure, and then we was hurting later.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. So we got to monitor just at that level. And some things we know where it's going to go if we mess with it. So this what makes us different than other animals. They can't think on this type of level of transformation. The transformation exists, but it's going to take some mental work. That's the vehicle. Oh, man. Now, we talked about the integrity, the self-worth.
Yeah, the self-worth. Thank you so much for the information like that, because I don't remember it all the time to remember, how complex and expensive this body is. That first day after I finished talking to you, I was floating.
Yeah.
I kept thinking, because that's all I could think about. And I'm like, okay, now what am I going to put in this expensive body? What am I going to, this complex body, how am I going to take care of it?
Right.
The next day, I kind of forgot a little bit, and then I remember it again. So that's why I said off and on, but I want to think like that all the time, to realize this body there's nothing that can compare.
Absolutely.
No machine in this world can compare to it.
Absolutely. You're expensive. That's the self-worth have to come in, the self-esteem. We have to, and I like how you said that. I would like, you was high 1 minute, but you want to think like that all the time. That's why we got to develop another voice that's going to constantly we got to talk to ourselves on that level. Over and over again. Until we redevelop ourselves, because this is where the battle's at. The battle's in the mind. The body, again, they'll tell you in science that the mind, the human brain, I ain't going to even use the term mind, the brain, this flesh, is the most complex organism in the universe. That is powerful. You have access to it.
Yeah.
So we can't let it get away from us. We want to what? Develop it into its highest potential. And we don't even know where it could go. We're scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yes.
So going back to the food, one level we need to, like I tell people, I ain't teach you how to eat at all. I'm teaching you how to eat again. Eat your way into food freedom. The reason why we're saying that, you got to build a self-esteem or a confidence that certain things, all right, that right there, I'm going to have to end that relationship with that food, because that's causing too much stress on my consciousness, on my psychology. It's blocking the energy, hands down. And there's some foods that have what? Higher energies than others. So you're taking it seriously now. And like we said, the diet and exercise isn't for the body. It's to start training your mind.
Yeah, the discipline.
It's all about discipline again. And I tell people, if you can't maintain a disciplined diet, how you going to come into food freedom?
Oh my God. It's going to be torture. It won't work.
It's not going to work. One guy talking on one level, I just eat fruits and vegetables, but the next minute I'm eating spaghetti and pastas and stuff. I'm not judging it, but you can't even maintain one feature of it. Or get yourself, at least you do start eating, you go to a level, you don't go too far. You know what I mean? This is all mental work. You got to regulate it. Other than that, you're going to run into trouble and don't understand what's taking place. And there's no mind control. It's all dealing with mind control. See, all education is mind control.
I'm so glad about that, because, it is mind control. I'm so glad you reminded me that everything is like that, because a lot of times people will, when you do something different from others, they might say that you're not thinking, or you're being cultic, or you're following a cult, that you're being brainwashed. But no. But this is very conscious use of your mind. In fact, we're more conscious than most people who are just walking around doing what everybody else is doing.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of people is actually talking out of, we might as well say it. There's envious, jealousy, because you're taking up something big to, how should I say, really put your health in check. Because keep in mind, there's a health conscious pandemic going on. And when you take that on and start transforming yourself, some people is just jealous because they are not doing it. They can't do it. Some people will be in your corner and root you on. You really look good. But there'll be some, just because you're doing something big, that means you're mastering your mind. And what comes along with that is another energy coming off a body. And like we said, this goes so far, when we talk about exploration of consciousness, all these speakers nowadays are saying you create your reality. So if you have a better energy coming off inside of you, you are setting yourself up for success on all levels in life. That's big. Now we know about movie stars and stuff where they'll tell you how they had to block out negative people just on those levels, a materialistic level, because they seen the roots of success in them. Whether it was family members, friends, they had to let them go. So this ain't no different. We're coming at a different angle. You're developing consciousness to be successful at life, to have a successful, healthy body on every type of level, physically, emotional, mental. This is the Breatharian journey. Hands down, it's high vibrational. But you got to start somewhere. That's why we got to build our self-esteem. You got the abilities. You got to have confidence in your abilities to pull this off. And it takes great mental work to monitor how you feel, the time of day, different energies, time to exercise, time to rest. This is where we at. Where you at? You feel better today, and mark it down if you can, log it, all this stuff. You're working with consciousness, which is your physical body. And then they start coming into alignment. And then it got the memo. Matter of fact, I make it look so easy now that I expected it to. I'm walking right amongst people. Why you look so healthy? What do you think I'm supposed to look? Falling down all over the place? No, we're talking about energy. This is what we're talking about. It's all around us, going through us. Now, depending on where a person's educational level at, I have been meeting people lately that I cannot help them right now. I got to point them into other directions because they're so far behind in their understanding. They don't even understand basics of physics. I feel tingling in my hands, but I don't know what you're talking about energy. What are you talking about? I shouldn't have to answer that right now. You need to be in another classroom. There is what you call, just like we went to school, kindergarten, first grade, second grade. It's the same with this. Some people's minds are not there yet. You just have to get caught up. Not being mean, just have to get caught up for a season. Look at more videos, get an understanding. And then once you capture it here, the next phase is how they say out in college, you're learning in the classroom, then you go out in the field.
That's experience.
Gotta go experience it.
Or sometimes,
right.
You can take those principles. Reason that I was so confident in working with you is that everything that you have said, even though you're not trying to use a scientific, you're talking to the average person, so you're using normal words, but there's a scientific, everything that you said makes scientific sense. So I've looked it up, I've considered it, and there's not one thing that doesn't make scientific sense.
Right.
Your life is scientifically based.
Right.
People, a top scientist would agree with what you're saying, but the average person who doesn't understand science is going to be thinking that, it's kind of cultic. Because even right down to when you said that you don't need water because there's water in the atmosphere, and that also that you do. Oh, excuse me. You produce water inside your body.
Right.
You know, there's a that I looked to, and when we break down energy, you know, the ATP to get energy out of it. When we break to get energy out. I mean, when we break down food to get ATP out. Well, somehow during that whole process of energy, you know, using water is the end result of that.
Right.
We make water inside our body, so you are right.
Absolutely.
You know, we don't know. You know, we just don't really know how it works, but it does work.
Absolutely.
So, amazing.
And it's the language that's messing everybody up. See, on one level, you know, like you said, I'll break it down to earth for a layperson to understand. But when they use those big words, it sounds so far out there, it seems like that person knows what they're talking about, or a person's not understanding.
Yeah.
I was with this group one time, and they had this new water that they made from Russia. But when I listened to the scientist talk, he was using big words, but he wasn't saying nothing.
That's, what's his name? Deepak Chopra.
Yeah.
You know, oh my gosh. Ever since I started, I used to try to listen to him, but he just would use all these gibberish. He would make up words, and he would just say big words, but he wasn't really saying anything.
Not even saying that.
But ever since I started following you, it's like he looks like an absolute total fool.
Right. Quantum this, quantum that. Those are big words making a person, but we need something to work with. Now, dealing with this journey.
You should get a Nobel Prize.
Well, thank you.
Physiology, because of what you've been able to do body.
Absolutely.
You know?
Now, dealing with this journey, okay, we did split it up with the physical body, the emotional, the mental, and we can stop right there. But the physical body is something we all can relate to. And since we know it's the mind now, that is the quickest way to work with the mind. The easiest. That's something, ain't it? Because that other thing, how do I deal with my emotional body? Well, deal with something you can see first. You'd be surprised how your anxiety, emotions, depression, all of that is right here. You can work on it hands-on. Just give it some time and keep working on it. Even exercise is proven to what? Help with depression, help with anxiety, help with mental problems. They're telling us, but we got to start doing it. Start being consistent so our thinking can change. So, and as we work with the physical body more and more, like I said, your self-esteem going to start building up. Your abilities, your self-confidence. And then you can bump it up to the next level. Oh, I can do that. That's what's going to happen.
I believe it. For me, I'm already thinking.
Because we're growing beings by nature. We're growing. And look how I said earlier about discipline at first do go against our nature because we're creatures of pleasure. But our new pleasure is going to be the light. As you open up more of your energy channels and more light come in, that's going to be the new pleasure. So there's nothing wrong with the word of pleasure. We think of something being bad. Oh, I'm just pleasure seeking that. Yeah, we're pleasure seekers. You should be. We live in a good, perfect world that wants to give us all what we need to be the best. But we need to what? Change the energies from the lower frequencies that was causing pain and suffering to the higher subtle forces. It wants to fill you with happiness, to be happy all the time, feeling good, all this good stuff. I was on the beach smiling yesterday. They was like, what you smiling for? Why not? We in paradise.
Yeah, exactly. And just for a little bit of resistance and discipline to appreciate the new level of energy from practice, then that's going to become the new pleasure.
That's the new pleasure, right? And at first, it's sort of like they gave us that analogy where somebody's born in a cave. And then you came out into the sunlight for the first time, and you cover up your eyes or run back in because it hurt you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the more you keep going out every day, a little bit at a time, your eyes start getting used to it. Your skin start getting used to it. Then you can soon go outside. You don't want to go live in that cave no more.
Oh.
You want to go explore the world, stay in the light. That's what's happening. It's time to move on to a higher degree of knowledge. But this right here is the exploration of consciousness. And like I said, the sciences, the physical sciences of this world is coming into it more and more. And now, it isn't a war like that. They love the idea of using a physical body as your laboratory, the new piece of equipment that's untapped. Because this has the ability to go past the 5 senses. So your subconscious is here, and it's so powerful, it's hooked up with everything that's going on. They don't have no piece of equipment they made like that yet. You understand? This is hands down. This is what the spiritual sciences was saying all along before they got corrupted. So we're just taking out the corruption and bringing it back and manifesting it on how it's supposed to be. You're the savior. The savior of who? Your life? Example of others around you? Absolutely. We're not waiting on nobody no more. It's all right here. Like we said, everything is a program. Your thoughts, your ideas, that was given to us by society. But the more you grab a new thought and idea, you have the power to what? Change society. Change yourself. We the people, that's what it's about. Create your new reality. And we're doing it. So this is the Breatharian journey, so we can take the myth out from reality. And this all start making sense.
A little confused though when you said everything is mental.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything is mental. But then you also talk about, you know, the physical. Talk about. Are you saying the emotional and the physical? I thought you were saying that the physical is mental, emotional is mental, everything is mental. But then you also about each individual. But it seems like you would just be talking about mental.
Got you. All right. Well, one level I'm trying to make everybody realize is mental, and then I'll come back and break it up into pieces, because that's how we've been taught to try to bring you in. So that was a method there. Thanks for looking at that. So the physical is the mental, is oneness. But what I'm trying to tell a person is that, because when we deal with the word our thinking, the best way to deal with your thinking is to deal with your physical body. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I see.
Because most people try to go straight to their thinking. You know, maybe if I read some more books, maybe if I get more information. And your brain, how should I say, your mind or your thinking could play so many tricks on you when you try to go directly to your thought process. It could talk you out of things.
Okay, I see.
But when you go straight to the physical body, what you can relate to and see, it can be monitored because it will actually change the way it looks. Did that make sense right there?
Yeah, it does.
It's easier to work with, an easier route.
Okay.
But going straight to your mind like that, our thinking, because on one level the ancients were saying this is an illusion. And have you ever seen those mind tricks on the internet? Look at this picture. What color is it? Did somebody else see another color? You can't trust what you can see. Right.
They have a smiley face. Another person sees whatever.
Absolutely. So this is what we're saying to make it easier. That's why the ancients were saying the first initiation, really on the spiritual journey, was diet and exercise. Master those two, So you can start what? Changing your brain, changing the neural pathways. This is it. It's all one. And then we could go in and start doing the mental work, straight here. But if this is out of order, you're going to have blockages still. You're not going to understand. They call that spiritual blindness or energetic blindness. Sometimes I'll be talking to somebody and it seems like they got the words, but it's still going over their head. But you got to keep talking. It's a program until it comes in soon. Oh, I got it. I got an aha moment. And everybody goes through that.
Okay.
Till you get that aha moment. And like what I said earlier, all education is mind control. It's sort of like if you want to go get your driver's license. And you start studying how to drive. The rules of how to drive. You got to drive a certain part of the road so you won't run into everybody. That's necessary. And if you don't, there's going to be consequences. You'll get a ticket. You can hurt somebody. So you got to learn those rules. So we need you to get this mind under control if you want to use that ability to drive a car. So when we deal with education, it's all dealing with mind control, whether if it's good or bad. There was a season where they said you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day in order to be healthy. Oh, I got it. Somebody controlled my mind. But when I put it to the test, there's something wrong with me or something wrong with the information because this wasn't working out. Every time I turned around, I had to keep using the bathroom. Something wrong with my kidneys. But come to find out, somebody made that up, due to where we're at now. So there's a lot of information we had in the past that's even no longer valid.
Not for everybody.
Right. And that's why there's so many, diet changes out there. So many different people, so many different that. We're working through it. But now since we're in this age of energy, and we got devices that can do this, and we're living off of it.
I love the age of energy. I love this.
Oh, man, this is it. And this is the foundation that we work off of. We see energies, we hear energies, we talk in energy just to move. So it's in our best interest to go straight to the source. Stop going through the fossil fuels to give off pollution, toxicity. Right. You want a cleaner burning source of fuel. And again, our minds are so powerful. The consciousness, the exploration of it. We're using the science of psychology now to go straight into it. And even now, dealing with health, they got a thing called the placebo.
Yeah.
And they still can't explain that, but that showed you the power of the mind. A person can make themselves sick or make themselves well just off of their thinking, their desire, what they want to happen. So the breatharian knowledge, you even got to look at yourself being fully healed right now, fully in health. That's how you got to talk to yourself. Don't wait till you get there. You already are. You're on the path.
Yeah, you do. Because if you're trying to get it, you're putting yourself in a position of lack.
Absolutely.
And it's like if you go to the doctor's office, the way that the hospitals and the clinics are set up, it's made for you to just completely believe, because they know everything, you don't know anything. And so RA, they have, even if the doctor gives you a pill, and the pill, who knows that pill may not even, but because you believe so much, this is the prescription that a doctor tells you, the doctor knows everything, and he can't be wrong, so this is going to make me feel better. Your intention and your belief is so strong.
Right.
That pill is going to work, regardless of whether, whatever. It has a high chance of working, let me put it that way.
Absolutely. And see, that right there, of course, that came on the scene in humanity. But dealing with the breatharian journey, like we said, you're going into the exploration of consciousness. Now you're looking at the problem with you. The body told you it's either going to tell you pain or pleasure. So we're going in figuring it out. What have I been doing to where my chest is hurting? This is how we looking at it. What have I been doing when my shoulder don't feel right? So you're going through all the body, working with it. Oh, it feels better. What did I do to make it feel better? Oh, I stopped eating that. Oh, I started stretching. Right. I got the blood flowing. That's what yoga was talking about. It's talking about union with. Union of what? Now, we try to make it seem spooky. Mind-body connection. You should be able to feel your feet. You got all those nerves coming up through, giving signals to the brain back and forth. Everything open. And we are what? Going into it. Look how they working with the physical body. Even the yoga system. Do the asana, stretch. Then go into meditation. It's all one. Everything's flowing. You'll get healthier and healthier. In the Breatharian journey, I'll be telling people over and over again, it's right on the 3rd level of yoga out of 7 different levels. And yoga's popular all over the planet. You don't see that many. I ain't seen no person in yoga that's a breatharian. That means that due to the mind control, something got hold of it. But if you understood what these tools are for, it's for self-realization, which we was talking about self-esteem. That's what you need. Confidence in yourself and your abilities as just being a human being. Now you're not like other animals. That's why you don't need to eat them. That's how you're looking at it now. Let him go live his life because you're going somewhere else. It ain't got nothing to do with no morals or nothing. You want to go do what the best quality to see what you can do. You could go on for a very long time. We got the information now. The whole body's regenerating. New cells in the skin every 30 days. New liver coming on the scene. New abdomen. All of that is changing year by year. You ain't even got to give yourself a time period. All you got to do is just stay on the path. And if you do eat, like I tell people, at least make sure the food is, you chew it, you relax. You understand? Enjoy it and know that you're still on the path. You are enjoying life.
Yeah. And at least make sure it's a good energy source.
Right.
It's not like I looked at my